The Canada Soccer Men's Player of the Year award is one that typically is pretty clear-cut. In past years, it has almost exclusively gone to Alphonso Davies, with Stephen Eustáquio and Jonathan David popping in and winning it in years where they have performed exceptionally well. However, this year in 2024, the Canadian national team has had some fantastic performances from a lot of players, and a lot of players have performed excellently at both club and country level, leading to a year where, in my opinion, there are 4 players in serious contention for the Canadian Men's Player of the Year award. And so I want to share my thoughts on who these 4 players are and why each of the 4 of them could win the Canada Player of the Year award. I'm going to run in from who I think is most likely to who I think is least likely, starting off with the first candidate. Now, first off, the person I think is most likely to win this award, but very slimly over the guy who I have at number 2, is Jonathan David. Jonathan David has for years now consistently been Canada's best striker. This year in 2024, he's scored 5 goals in 14 games for the Canadian national team. Now, notably from those 5 goals, he had 2 in the Copa America, which made him Canada's leading scorer at the Copa America, and he surpassed Kyle Larin with his 5th and final goal of the year to become the all-time leading goal scorer in Canadian men's national team history. But it's not just the goal scoring for Canada. Last year, he scored 19 goals in 34 games for Lille in Ligue 1, and this season he has been on fire to start the year, scoring 7 goals in 12 appearances for the French side, as well as 6 goals in 8 appearances in the UEFA Champions League, scoring some massive goals against big competitions, most notably so far a goal against Real Madrid as Lille beat the Spanish giants. Honestly, it's the fantastic start to the Champions League campaign this season that is really throwing Jonathan David into Canadian Player of the Year territory. The worldwide recognition he is getting by scoring a lot of goals consistently against big opponents in the Champions League, putting Lille in a very good spot to go on into the knockout stages of the Champions League, has drawn him global attention and probably for the start of the season made him the most world-renowned Canadian at the current moment. In terms of impact on the global level, form, and just pure stats, Jonathan David is the best player for Canada in 2024. However, the only thing holding him back from being a shoo-in for Canadian Soccer Player of the Year in 2024 is the fact that he has no individual or team honors from this season. Nothing in terms of personal recognition for 2024, which might hold David back from winning the award. Now, talking about recognition, we have the guy who I think is Jonathan David's biggest competitor, Alistair Johnston. Alistair Johnston has had a massive 2024. In his first full season at Celtic in the Scottish Premiership, Alistair Johnston won the Scottish Premiership and Scottish Cup, completing a domestic double with the Scottish side. As well as that, he has established himself in 2024 as a lead player in that team. He is now one of their best players, having just signed a contract that'll keep him there through 2029. He sometimes wears the captain armband from that team. And this season, he has also established himself as more of a goal-scoring threat, scoring 4 goals in 12 appearances to start the 2024-2025 season, all as a defender. Alistair Johnston always was a known player on Celtic for the past 1.5 seasons, but now at the start of the 2024-2025 season, he has truly established himself as one of their best players and one of their key players, and he has kept that good form on to Canada, as in the 2024 Copa America, he was the only player on the Canadian national team to be named to the best 11 of the tournament at the Copa America. So individual recognition, team honors, he has it all. Yes, the individual statistics, the goal scoring statistics are not as fancy as Jonathan David's, but he is right there. He has trophies, he has individual recognition, and it truly has just been a breakout year for Alistair Johnston's relevance on the global scale. If there was a year where the right back was going to win the Canadian National Team Player of the Year award, this is the one. Now, speaking of breakout players, if there was a Canadian National Team Breakout Player of the Year award, Shaffelburg would win it. Jacob Shaffelburg has had a hell of a year with the Canadian national team. Only 7 appearances for the national team prior to this year. In 2024, he picked up 13 appearances for the Canadian national team, scoring 5 goals, which tied him for the team lead on the year with Jonathan David, and he did it in 1 fewer matches. So if you want to go on a tiebreaker for goals per appearance, Jacob Shaffelburg was Canada's top goal scorer this year. An absolutely incredible 2024 for Shaffelburg, where the Copa America really was was his breakout. Like, yeah, he was already a significant member of the team going into the Copa America, but in the Copa America, he really established himself as a guy who is a starter for Canada and has really put himself in a position where he is right now a starter for the Canadian national team, which I don't think a lot of people expected from Schaffelberg coming into the year. He scored Canada's only goal against Venezuela in the quarterfinal of the Copa America, helping us push through the semifinal, as well as a big goal against the US, albeit in a friendly, a big goal against Trinidad and Tobago in the Copa America qualifying playoffs, and a brace against Suriname in the last game of the season. He's a guy who shows up and scores goals in the big moments. And if the only consideration for the Canadian Player of the Year award was play for Canada, Jacob Schaffelberg would probably be the favorite for the award. The problem with him winning the award this year is that his domestic team play was not great. Nashville SC did not do good at all in 2024 in MLS. They missed the playoffs and just really were not a contending team at all in any competition this season. As well as that, he only scored 2 goals in 23 appearances in Major League Soccer for Nashville this season, so it wasn't a lights out domestic season statistically for Jacob Schaffelberg. Without having a great domestic season and with no individual honors, it would be a very long shot to give Jacob Schaffelberg the Canadian Men's National Team Player of the Year award. However, if it was based solely on play for Canada, this was a year where Jacob Schaffelberg established himself not only as a starter for the Canadian national team, but one of our most exciting, best players offensively. And for pure Canada play, he would be a true contender for this award, but I just don't think he's had the domestic season to really put himself in true contention. And finally, Alphonso Davies. And Alphonso Davies of the Canada Men's Player of the Year award, it's never saying why he should win it, it's why saying in any given year he shouldn't win it. Because bar none, Alphonso Davies is the best player for Canada. He is. He just straight up is our best player. And well, Alphonso Davies was Alphonso Davies this season. There wasn't the X factors to really make him stand out above the rest of the crowd this year. 12 appearances for Canada, 0 goals, which, like, yeah, he's a left back, but this was the first year since 2018 when he only made 3 appearances for the national team that he did not score a single goal for Canada. The first time ever where he's made more than 3 appearances and did not score a goal for the national team. On top of that, in 2023-2024, obviously Bayern Munich had a rare season where they won nothing. Not a single trophy was won by Bayern Munich in the 2023-2024 season, and so Alphonso Davies has no silverware to justify him winning the Player of the Year award this season. Now, had Bayern Munich gone on to win that Champions League semifinals where he scored a fantastic goal, everything would be different probably, but the fact that Alphonso Davies scored an incredible goal in the Champions League semifinals, which for a minute there was the biggest goal ever scored by a Canadian player in club play, that would have made Davies a front runner for this award. But the fact that in the end that goal didn't mean anything and Bayern Munich didn't win a single trophy, and Alphonso Davies, while being fantastic for Canada the whole season, was not recognized in any competition Canada's played this season as a player of the tournament, I think that Davies just, for him to win this award, he needs to have the silverware to back it up. Everyone knows he's the best player, but in a year where he didn't win anything or wasn't recognized anywhere, it's hard to justify giving it to him. And while Alphonso Davies is always in the conversation, I don't think this is the year where he wins his 5th Canada Men's Player of the Year award. So, 4 players who you could all justify giving this award to, but in the end, I think it really is going to come down to Alistair Johnston and Jonathan David. One of those 2 are going to win it. My money is ever so slightly on Jonathan David, but it has been a fantastic year for Canada Soccer, and the fact that we are at a point now where there are multiple players who are all exceeding in their domestic club positions at very high levels and playing very well for the national team. This is a level of talent that we could not have dreamt of having 10 years ago on this team. And the fact that now we have multiple players all performing well on Champions League teams in Europe and guys who are just killing it in MLS and coming to the national team as well. It's such a great level of talent on this team, again, that we did not dream of having 10 years ago. And the fact that now we have actual competition for this award instead of just giving it to Atiba Hutchinson every year is absolutely incredible. And let's be clear, a lot of the years where Atiba Hutchinson won that award, the performances he had that year, now in 2024, would not have been enough to win the Canadian Men's Player of the Year award. Just fantastic growth and development from this nation and from this footballing country all around. So that is for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like, if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time, hopefully when I get more background art in this new setup.